Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to this presentation. We would like to discuss about understanding implied mind idea. Okay, we would like to discuss about making inferences and drawing conclusion. As we know that active readers use a variety of strategies to understand and interact with what they are reading. They use their background knowledge as well as the information in the reading to draw inferences. Inferences are reasonable conclusions based on information in the text. Making an inference is like reading between the lines. You make a reasonable guess about information based on what you have read. Inferences are not directly stated, unlike explicit mind ideas, but inferences are reasonable conclusions that are unstated, like an implied mind idea. Reasonable means that the evidence for the inference is clearly suggested by the text and that the reader can infer further information based on what is stated in the text. Inferences and your background knowledge. Let's see the illustration below. In order to get a joke or see what's funny in cartoon, you use your background knowledge that suggests why there is a difference between what you expect and what you get, which make the joke or cartoon funny. Similarly, when you read the passage, you use the background knowledge to make inferences and draw conclusions about when the author is going with the information and what would you be a reasonable guess about what an author may mean or suggest. To draw conclusion, you rely on making inferences that lead to reasonable conclusion. Conclusion is an overall judgment about the reading based on several reasonable inferences. When you determine an implied mind idea of a whole reading, you are drawing a conclusion based on both stated and unstated main ideas in each of reading body paragraph. Here are a few ways readers make inferences. Use context clues. Using word structure clues or structural analysis. Making prediction about what will happen next in the reading. Making prediction about how the information in reading will be structured. Determining implied mind ideas. Determining the mood or tone of a reading from the author's choice of word. Understanding how a character feels and understanding events in a reading and why they happened. Quick tips. Here are several steps to make inference and drawing conclusion. Number 1. Consider what each sentence says about the topic. Number 2. Ask yourself this question, what is a reasonable conclusion to make about the passage based on the information provided in the text? Implied mind idea. An implied mind idea is a formulated mind idea statement created by the reader when the author does not directly state his or her main point in the sentence within a reading. There are 3 methods that we can do. Number 1. Topic plus existing sentence. Number 2. Sentence plus sentence. And number 3. General statement based on supporting details. Number 1. Topic plus existing sentence. There may be a sentence in the passage that contains the author's most important point about the topic, but refers to the topic itself by a pronoun. In order to express a complete thought, the reader needs to add a topic to the sentence that contains the point. For example, what is interesting about group phenomenon is that most people would never suspect that they are likely to do what the group does. Not me. Never. A good example of this illustrated by the bystander effects. The psychological phenomenon exists when a group of people fail to react to an emergency due to a complex series of causes, ambiguity of the situation, fear of appearing foolish, and the tendency to react as others in the group are reacting. Adapted from BBC News website. From this passage, the topic is the bystander effects. Clearly, in the paragraph is defining this psychological phenomenon. The basic definition exists in the sentence. The psychological phenomenon exists when a group of people fail to react to an emergency due to a complex series of causes, ambiguity of the situation, fear of appearing foolish, and the tendency to react as others in the group are reacting. This sentence contains the definition of bystander effects. However, the topic is replaced in the sentence by the word "this." To correctly state the main idea, then you insert the topic into an existing sentence because topic is always included in the main idea. The bystander effect exists when a group of people fail to react to an emergency due to a complex series of causes: ambiguity of the situation, fear of appearing foolish, and the tendency to react as others in the group are reacting. Style number 2. Sentence per sentence. The second type of implied main idea exists when the author's most important point is divided into two sentences. These sentences must be combined in order to accurately state the main idea in a single sentence. For example, in social situations, people look to others in the crowd to determine whether or not to intervene in an emergency. Diffusion of responsibility occurs when they determine others will take action. So the individual does nothing. Someone else must have called the police, so I don't need to do anything. The onlooker reasons to himself. As a result, if everyone assumes this, the police never do get called. Here, the topic of diffusion of responsibility. The point is that then in the crowd people assume others have taken action and should do nothing. This thought is expressed by first and second sentences. Combine the two sentences to state the main idea. Diffusion of responsibility occurs in social situations when people look to others in the crowd to determine whether or not they intervene in an emergency, assume others have taken action and should do nothing. Number 3. General statement based on supporting details. The third type of implied main idea occurs when the authors present a series of supporting details only. The reader can fairly easily understand what the overall point is, but has nothing stated in the passage to work with as in methods number 1 and number 2 before. For example, notice something is happening and then interpret the situation as emergency. Assume personal responsibility to choose a form of assistance. Most importantly, implement assistance. Do not assume that others have taken action to intervene in the emergency, as they may be a part of the bystander effect. Here, the topic is bystander effect and steps to overcome it. The author's point in that certain steps can be taken to overcome the bystander effects. There is no sentence in the paragraph that mentions this idea. Instead, the writer presents a sequence of things to do counteract the assumption that others are reacting. The main idea is inferred from the details. There are steps that can be taken to overcome the bystander effect, or the bystander effect can be overcome by becoming aware of these steps. Here's another example of using method 3 to create an implied main idea statement. One way to avoid bystander effect is to be aware of phenomenon. Another safeguard is to be aware of what is going on around you when an emergency occurs. Be aware of what other people are doing and how they are reacting. Furthermore, make sure that help has been summoned, even if you are the one to call for assistance. Last, spread the word about this phenomenon so others may react effectively in emergency situations as well. In this example, the author has provided 4 suggestions for avoiding the bystander effects. The 4 suggestions are: number 1, be aware of phenomenon. Number 2, be aware of what is going around you when the emergency occurs. Number 3, make sure that help has been summoned. Number 4, spread the word about the phenomenon. Quick tips: writing implied main idea statement. When you write your own implied main idea statement, follow these guidelines. Method 1. Add the topic to a sentence in the passage that comes close to stating the point you have constructed in your mind. Method number 2. Combine 2 sentences to create your statement on the main points. Method number 3. Check to see if the reading is a series of supporting points that all logically fall under the general statement you have constructed as the main idea. taking into account that all major supporting points are equal in the importance. Keep in mind the following. Notice if any passage is a list of something and has a general of reading points that can be summed up in a general statement. Turn the topic into question, then answer the question. There you have the main idea. Think in the term of summative words or phrases and imagine explaining the point of the passage to a peer. Start your thinking with the point is blah 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 blah, or in conclusion blah 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 blah, or to sum up blah 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 blah. In contrast pattern, half of the point is often mentioned in one sentence and the other half in second sentence. When you see a contrast pattern, consider the possibility of using method 2. When in doubt, try beginning your implied main idea statement with there are blah 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 blah. This way you will know you are creating a sentence, not a phrase. Thank you very much for your nice attention. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.